Nathan Zegura here with a game preview edition of the 2-Minute Drill brought to you by University Hospitals. It is a big one for the Browns, the Battle of Ohio, as the 4-4 Browns travel to Cincinnati to take on the 5-3 Cincinnati Bengals. And the Browns, much as they did last year in Cincinnati, game in which Baker Mayfield threw 5 touchdowns, leading a dramatic come-from-behind win for the Browns, they will do so without Odell Beckham Jr. General Manager Andrew Berry spoke with the media earlier about the Browns' decision to part ways with the wide receiver.
I don't think anyone envisioned when the organization traded for Odell 3 years ago, that this would really be the resolution. It's unfortunate, but at the same time, there are just some situations in the NFL where things just don't quite work out. That being said, I do want to say that Odell, he's a good person who brought special energy in the building. Developed a lot of really strong relationships with teammates, staff members, coaches, and we really do want all parties to kind of emerge from this successfully. But that being said, there are times in with business partnerships where things don't just work out, and that's where we are today. Those decisions are incredibly difficult, but at the end of the day, it's a decision that I felt was appropriate for our team.
That was important closure for this team as the Odell situation had kind of lingered over the franchise for the better part of this week. And now the attention and focus must solely be on a very talented Cincinnati Bengals team. The Bengals enter this game, as I said earlier, at 5-3. They are number 7 in scoring offense. They are number 6 in scoring defense. That is a recipe for success, folks, and they do it on both sides of the ball very effectively. Offensively, they are led by Joe Burrow. 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on the season. Burrow has been spectacular, very much looking like the player that he was at LSU, which made the Bengals select him number 1 overall. And he's got his receiver from LSU, Jamar Chase, their first-round pick, 3rd in the NFL in receiving already this season. He's averaging over 20 yards per catch and leads the NFL with 6 receptions of 40 yards or more. So containing Chase, who's already over 700 yards on the season, is critical. But they also have Tyler Boyd. They also have T. Higgins. So it is a talented receiving trio, not to mention tight end C.J. Uzomah, who's got 5 touchdowns already on the season. And then they have a full-time 3-down talented back in Joe Mixon, who's given about 100 total yards and a score each week. So this offense can hurt you in a lot of ways. If there is one weakness, though, it is the offensive line. Their center has given up the most sacks of any center in the league so far, and their 2 tackles have struggled at times this year. If there's a strength of the Browns defense, it's Myles Garrett. Right now, the favorite to be the Defensive Player of the Year, leading the NFL with 10.5 sacks on the season. And the good news is it looks like Denzel Ward will be back after missing last week as well, and John Johnson good to go after suffering that neck injury that forced him out of the game against the Steelers. So your back end and your front should be in good shape to take on this excellent Bengals offense. Now, when the Browns have the football, they're going to have to rely on Nick Chubb running the football against a very good front of the Bengals. DJ Reader and former Brown Larry Ogunjobi having a great season in the middle of that defense. They brought in cornerback Mike Hilton from the Steelers a year ago. They've just been playing, frankly, good defense. Now, this is a team that prior to their last game, which was against the Jets last week, they had not allowed more than 25 points in a game. They were the longest running team, 7 straight games to open the season. They had shut down teams like the Packers, shut down the Baltimore Ravens in a big win in Week 7. But last week, it was the first time somebody got to him. So there's some tape out there for what the Jets did to this Bengals team that I'm sure Kevin Stefanski and his team will employ. So the Browns are going to need some more of that magic. They need to really rally right here. There have been distractions, but as Kevin Stefanski said, this is a desperate team. Joel Bitonio said the season is on the brink, and so this team needs to find a way to go down to Cincinnati, get that first divisional win of the year, and leave 5-4. One thing to note for the Browns this year, they've been great at getting the lead after 3 quarters. They've done that in 7 of their 8 games. Last year, they were 9-0 when leading after 3 quarters. This year, just 4-3. But under Zach Taylor, the Bengals all-time 0-21 when trailing after 3 quarters. So the Browns need to go out there, get the lead, and then finish this game. Everything's still ahead of them. 5 games in the division, 7 in the AFC, all against teams that right now are either in the playoffs or tied with the Browns trying to get into the playoffs. It is in the Browns' destiny, and this is a big one down in Cincinnati. We'll have full coverage for you on Browns Countdown starting at 11. I'll be down at Paul Brown Stadium, joining the gang back here in Cleveland to give you the latest on the Battle of Ohio. It's a big one. We know that. And the Browns need to find a way. You've been watching the Game Preview edition of the 2-Minute Drill, brought to you by University Hospitals.